UFC Vegas 54. Let's break down some of these fights that we got on tap for Saturday. Let's go. All right, what's going on, everybody? This is your boy CeeLo, and we're here to talk about UFC Vegas 54, Blachowicz versus Rakic, a light heavyweight bout. It's going to be a good fight. Two big boys going at it. Blachowicz, former light heavyweight champion, and you got Rakic, been looking great. You wanna know my picks. You wanna stay tuned to these videos, man. I'm gonna be bumping them out. Maybe one or two more this week, and then we can go from there. For right now, there's a fight that I want to talk to you guys about in this card. We're going to go down to Manuel Torres and Frank Camacho. This is a lightweight fight that's very, very intriguing, man. The reason being is because, again, you have a veteran fighter versus a hype up and comer. As of now, just looking at the tail of the tape, we got Manuel Torres a slight favorite at minus 155. A 12-2 record. He's 27 years young, fighting in the lightweight division, and you got on the other side, you got Mr. Frank Camacho, Frank the Crank Camacho, slight underdog, sitting at plus 130 odds. You know, this man's been in the fight game for a while. He's 32 years old, about to be 33. Fights out of the lightweight division, and he's fought at welterweight before, so he's a pretty big fighter here. But the reason why I think this fight's going to be a banger is because, again, you have a veteran that's seen it all. He's gone through the ringer, and then now you have a Manuel Torres, hype up and comer coming out of Mexico. You know, if we go down to their last performances, we did have Manuel El Loco Torres come out of the Dana White Contender Series, and he impressed, man. He really did impress. A little bit of controversy there with whether it was an eye poke or not, but at the end of the day, he stopped his opponent, and that's always good coming out of Dana White Contender Series. You know, last week's video, we talked about CJ Vergara and how he impressed in his Dana White Contender Series debut. You know, how he went out and finished the guy. Same story here, man. Manuel El Loco Torres, impressed in his Dana White Contender Series fight. I think this is why the line is where it's at, because usually a debutant, you won't see them being the favorites, especially against Frank Camacho, man. You know, he's been through the ringer like we talked about. But if we just look at the straight tail of the tape, Manuel El Loco Torres is 155er in the lightweight division. He's a big man, dude. 5'10". That's a big body for the lightweight division. Has a really good 73.5-inch reach. And so that's a problem for the lightweights right now. If he can keep it at bay, if he can keep it striking, and this guy wants to keep it striking, man. This guy throws bombs, very, very hard kicks. Has kind of more of a technical stance. He's not of what I've seen on tape. He's a little bit more, what they like to call controlled chaos, right? He does throw heavy punches, heavy kicks. He's in and out. And what I like to see is that he's comfortable on the ground, man. He has some submission wins. He's lost by submission as well. His two losses, I believe, they were due to submission. But he can bring it. He can bring it to Mr. Frank Camacho, man. On the other side of the octagon, you have a very, very well known fighter, man. He's been through the ringer. He's fought names like Benio Dariush, Jeff Neal. I believe that was a welterweight. Drew Dober. These guys are no joke, man. And ultimately, he lost to them. But Drew Dober, I believe he went to decision, and it was that's saying something, man. Not a lot of people can withstand Drew Dober. We saw what Drew Dober did to in his last fight, versus what was his name? A young up and comer. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I'm losing that name right now, man. Back to this fight, we got Frank the Crank Camacho and Manuel El Loco Torres. So I feel like we're gonna see a little bit of a grappler versus striker kind of thing. I don't think Frank Camacho is gonna want to stand and bang with Torres, man. Torres is always, like I said, he's applying the pressure, bringing the heat. Throwing some nice hooks, some choppy leg kicks. So nothing that Camacho hasn't seen, but like I said, the hype behind Manuel Torres is real, man. He's gonna be a problem, I believe. He especially early on in his career, once he starts meeting, at the top echelon of the lightweights. Do you know what that looks like? We got a glimpse of that this past weekend, man. But as far as his first fight, this is a nice introduction to the lightweight division, because I'm leaning Torres, man. Again, a lot of people are on the Frank Camacho side because he's fought, those veteran fighters and those, big names out there, so they don't really count them as losses. Because if you lose to Benio Dariush, if you lose to Drew Dober, you lose to guys like Jeff Neal, like you're not, those are good guys to lose against, right? You don't want to lose against some 0-3 fighter or some fighter that's not even in the UFC anymore. But when the fight first got booked, I was leaning Camacho, and I was leaning him by submission or just grinding out a decision win. But I think Manuel Torres can keep it at bay, dude. He can keep it at bay. He can, stick that jab in your face, chop you with those leg kicks. And I feel like Camacho's going to throw, he's going to want to desperately throw for a takedown. And we'll see Torres, maybe lay on top for a round or two. Unless he decides to, go back up there and, strike it, bang it out. But the line might move as well. I feel like money will come in on Camacho just because the closer to fight night, these kinds of fights are the ones that get a little bit more of the rub, right? Because you want to see where there's value, where there's like even odds kind of. So at 155 and 130, plus 130 as a slight underdog, there's value there for sure. Can Camacho come out and win? Yes, he can. Can Torres come out and beat him in the first round? Yes, he can, absolutely. So this is not a fight where we have like a heavy favorite, as we saw last week with CJ Vergara and Clayton Rodriguez. And man, that was a hell of a fight, man. If you haven't seen my breakdown of that fight, everything pretty much went as I thought. It's on my YouTube channel if you guys want to check it out. But again, back to this fight. As far as the odds go, Manuel Torres at minus 155. I wouldn't be surprised if he stops Camacho, man. I understand Camacho's gone through the ringer. I understand Camacho's fought the who's who. But we've seen what happens to fighters after they go through the ringer, man. We've seen what happens to fighters when they go through the top echelon of these guys, man. They take, these guys take their soul, man. And I believe Camacho's soul has been taken. And, 32 years young, 33 pretty much, that's already in the lightweight division. It's not, it's not old. It's not young either, but we've seen him being in the UFC since, I believe, 2016, 2017. So he's been fighting, man. And again, I understand why people are leaning Camacho. They believe in his veteranship. They believe in his experience. That's what's going to help him in the fight. But ultimately, Manuel El Loco Torres as a minus 155, slight favorite. The line will move. It might be an opportunity to live bet where, if you're leaning Camacho and Manuel Torres is out here looking like a dog in the first round, and these odds move, and you might get Camacho at a plus 150 plus 170, and you think he comes back in the later rounds to use his experience versus Manuel Torres, by all means. But here in CeeLo Studios, we're going to pick Mr. Manuel El Loco Torres as a minus 155. As it sits right now, the line will move as we keep going through the week. And official prediction is going to be Manuel El Loco Torres inside the distance. I want to say, I wouldn't be surprised if it's the first round, but I want to say second round. KO, TKO. It's definitely viable. It's definitely a path to victory. Camacho, again, a dog, man. He's been through the ringer. He's shown that he can stand in there with the best of them. But I just think it's Manuel El Loco Torres' time, man. He really did. You want to say whatever you want to say about the Dana White Contender Series fight, where there may be some controversy, but I don't think there was any controversy before that. Supposed eye poke, he was controlling the fight. He was applying the pressure. He was throwing the harder shots. He looked great, man, and he looked like he wasn't even breaking a sweat. He looked like he can go the 3 rounds easy, and this is why we're leaning Manuel El Loco Torres. If the line ends up moving a little bit more towards the high 100s, the minus high 100s, I wouldn't touch it there. That's you never want to lay too much juice on a debutant in the UFC, but as we saw last week with Clayton Rodriguez, he was about I believe he was like a minus 300 or minus 400 by fight time. So that was just ridiculous. That was easy money on CJ Vergara. If you guys tailed, enjoy that cash, and we're on to this week. So to wrap things up, Manuel El Loco Torres, a 12-2 fighter, fighting out of Mexico. We love our Mexican fighters. 27 years young, in the lightweight division, a huge, huge body for the lightweight division, and we'll see him getting this W, man. Again, inside the distance is what I'm going with. If it goes to decision, as long as he can pull this victory off, we'll be sitting pretty, man. If you want me to keep banging out these videos, leave a like, comment down below, subscribe. It'll be greatly appreciated. I'll leave down my Instagram down in the description below. I'm posting there every day. We've been posting a little bit of NBA. We're heavy on MMA, and we have NFL coming soon, so you guys want to stay tuned with that. I'll post my Instagram down below, and with that, hope you guys enjoy the fights. I will be cranking out maybe a video or two more before Saturday. We need to wait for the weigh-ins. That's a huge factor, as we saw last week as well. But with that, I'll see you guys, and we'll be cranking out more videos, as I said. But for now, we out. This is your boy CeeLo.